Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. So, I hope that you have good information in the morning. And you heard from the ambassador that the US Vietnam is going to turn to the next chapter. That's to promote more high-tech economy. So I'm here today from VinaCapital Ventures. I am Trung Hoang to give you the update about the venture capital investment in VinaCapital Group, and also for the plan going forward. So as you may know, we live in the world to serve two sides, the startup and our investor, that's LP. But we've been found out that's necessary, but it's not enough. So startup will need to be connected into the business community. Startup, we need to deploy solution. Startup need money, but they also need human resources. They also need workforces. So VinaCapital Ventures have been able to create an ecosystem which connect all of these necessary components to help the startup to develop, to scale, and to realize their dreams. How can we do that? Let me dive into our activity. Let me remind you about VinaCapital Ventures. In 2003, VinaCapital Group had been established and now is one of the top tier multi-asset, multidisciplinary asset fund manager in Vietnam, managing more than 4.2 billion USD. And we started the very first venture capital arm in 2007. We've been able to divest it in 2018. And during 10 years in Vietnam, we've been able to bring one company to IPO. So from zero to hero, the market cap at the time the company went IPO is about 300 million USD. So we are one of the very first VC in the market. We've been able to deliver return to our investor. We've been able to find many ways of exit. And we've been able to raise the next fund in 2018. We're still in the market actively to invest. Looking further, we are going to launch a new fund. We hope to close early next year to focus more on the later stage investment in venture capital for Vietnam. In terms of performance, the first fund has been able to return 3.74x of the principal investment. So we mobilized about 21 million, we returned about 77 million to our investor. We invest in 11 companies, and then we've been able to divest from 5 companies. And all of them are still in the market nowadays. So we learned our lesson, yes. But we also build up the experience, the network, and the necessity in order to grow and scale in the future. That's why we move on with the second vintage, the current VinaCapital Ventures investment, where we are having 22 investments in various sectors of Vietnam, starting with fintech, insurtech, including the ABCD, the AI, blockchain, cloud data, down into the agri-tech and food tech. In here, we've been able to have the unrealized of 1.5x as of now, after 5 years of investment. And in the portfolio, we are looking for 2 unicorns, which we hope that we can IPO and realize our return in the next 2 years. The first one is Chisilon, the largest out-of-home media network in Vietnam at the moment. It's dominated about 70% of Vietnam out-of-home media advertisement. If you walk into all of the building or a larger area in Vietnam, you will see Chisilon. The other one is Signum. It's one of the new digital banking platform operating in Singapore with full license, managing the new digital asset with the full license of the traditional bank. But besides, we also have other portfolio with very potential and already established their leading position in the Vietnam market and also in the region, in the various sector. Our value is to help them with the operational skill set, the network, and also with the connection, as I mentioned before. Our secret of success, that's the partnership. For the first vintage up to the second vintage, we've been able to work with the top tier partners from around the globe. The first one we work with DFJ. DFJ is one of the largest VC network in the world right now. DFJ invests in Tesla, SpaceX, Yahoo, Baidu, and so on. For the second one, our partners come from Korea. That's Mirae Asset and Naver. So the ecosystem we've been able to establish for startup, not only for startup, we also have the ecosystem for investor and our partners. So our partners, investor partner, can tap into the business community, can access the startup community, and also can have exposure to the government and university for their decision or for their ventures in Vietnam. Throughout 17 years in the market, we have the system, a very rigorous and robust system, which is repeatable and executable to deliver the success. We are not a tourist investor. We are here deep-rooted. So we do have process from deal sourcing. We do have investment criteria where we focus on the product to market, on the founding team, on the scalability. We add value into the company we invested in by having them in the operation, in strategy, market expansion, and also daily management, very hands-on. All of our investment team, they wear many hats because we're dealing with the very early stage investment in Vietnam here. Last but not least, we also strategize the asset with our portfolio from the beginning. So we've been able to divest through M&A, been able to divest through strategic sales or company management buyout, and also for IPO. And I think as of now, for the VC fund in Vietnam, we are the only one. We are the only one can deliver that. Give you an example, we have a funnel of about 430 opportunities last year. And go through all of the process, we conclude and we put money into 8 companies. So the deal flow can be from the VinaCapital group. It can come from our network. This is very important to us. We invest in entrepreneurs, and when they are successful, they start a new business, they come back to us. Or when their friend have the new business initiative, they want to discuss with us. Not only that, there's so many other middle managers come from the corporation. When they find out difficulties, they want to start their own solutions. They also come out and start a business. They also want to discuss with us. That thanks to the VinaCapital platform, because our sibling fund, the VOF, invests in top tier blue chip company in the stock market. If you go stock market, you start to count down, I'm pretty sure that the top 20 will be in their portfolio. Startup also come from the university. We've been able to establish the network with all of university in Vietnam and participated all of the competition across the country, north and south. And then go through our investment process where we talk about the due diligence, including the founder reference check and the compliance, risk compliance, is in our DNA since the beginning. People talk a lot about ESG nowadays, but for startup, sometimes you don't have that many ESG, but risk and compliance is very important. That's why we also have good relationship with the government. Startup normally run ahead of regulatory framework, and you need guideline, you need showcase, you need have listen learn in order to improve it, or how the government can help or work with you in order to bring it to the reality or implement it to the economy. So with the process, go through the in-depth due diligence, talk to founder, make sure that they have the long-term vision, agree on the exit path. We have the we conclude the deal, and we start the definitive agreement and start the portfolio management process. As of here, do we have any questions? No. Yes.
Just on the Mirai and Neighbor, right, and also DFJ, you mentioned that your success is due to these partnerships. Aside from them being LPs, what value added they did for you guys?
Right. The key success for us is the partnership. The DFJ, they bring to the table the experience or the exposure we don't have from Silicon Valley. There's a lot of overseas Vietnamese, they want to go back, but they don't know how. So they need the local platform. So the local platform can be attracted from both sides. And also Vietnamese company, when they grow up, when they scale, they also want to look for the bigger market. So that's why DFJ and us had formed the bridge between Silicon Valley and Vietnam. But during COVID, where the market is smaller, supply chain has been disrupted, and then we think that something near home will add more synergy. So that we have Mirai and Naver. The Korean is the top tier, ranking #1 of the FDI in Vietnam. So there's a lot of conglomerate. They invest in Vietnam, and they need the industry, the supporting industry. That's why the bridging between Vietnam and Korea make a lot of sense for us. We find that we're in good position to have the bridge between the two countries. So startup from Korea can also come and support their larger corporation. At the same time, the Vietnamese company, they can find a new market where they have the more advanced technology or the more exposure in terms of the fundraising. So that's how we work with each other hand in hand and create value for mutual benefits. Yes?
It isn't clear, but what kind of early stage funding do you provide? What are the typical check sizes and which stage? I guess what kind of process do you go through to evaluate these startups?
Yeah, we agnostic. So in terms of the industry, we look into any inefficiency in Vietnam, which I'll cover later for the investment. But from the check size, we prefer to have the opportunity from the pre-Series A up to Series A plus. So it can be anything from 500,000 up to 3 million for the investment in many tranches.
And do you typically lead or you're following?
In Vietnam, yes, definitely in Vietnam we'll be the lead, but we are open. As I said, the success is come with the partnership. So we also have investment outside of Vietnam where we follow. So we have in 22 investment here, we have 3 investment. We invest in Singapore and we follow our partners. Well, so let's move on. So that is the update of the VinaCapital Ventures. And we believe that the opportunities lay ahead. That's why we decide to press on. In our own analysis, we find that even during the very difficult time, during the COVID time, Vietnam is still very attractive. It is always ranking #3 in the region after Indonesia and Singapore for the capital inflow. And then we look deeper, which size of investment is more attractive? And we see that the later stage still attract a lot of attention, but they don't have enough capital. So the size from 3 to 10 millions, there's many, but they cannot raise funds. Where can they go? They try to sell themselves cheaply into the corporation. So we think that the next step for Vietnam, in order to scale, is also with the influx of the FDI, the complexity of the production, and also the economy or the startup can absorb more capital in order to grow, to generate more value into the economy. We believe that in our pipeline, there's many companies in the expansion stage where they are ready to scale. But the foreigner investor is very hesitant because they learn a lot prior to COVID and during COVID. They learned the lesson that they don't have the trustworthy investment platform or the local partner to work with. If you search on the internet, you hear a lot about the investment with the check size from 25 up to 50, more than 50 million USD had to go to the drainage system. And when we spoke to them, they told us clearly that they want to tap into an investment platform which they can work with because it needs to be localized. Why is that? Our answer is Vietnam is an oligopoly market where it's very easy for you to access the proof of concept. Why? 100 million population, the high rate of urbanization, strong growth of the domestic consumption, everything you hear about it. So everywhere you see the inefficiency, transportation, banking, healthcare, technology, in education, everywhere. But the product to market is very challenging because it's only some focus on a certain company. So startup or founder in Vietnam will have more, they have to fight more, to learn more. But once they can get the momentum, they can be big. So that's the idea. We believe that this company, light assets, have the capability to scale, can generate revenue more than 10 millions in the next 4 or 5 years. The horizon to exit will be shorter. That's why we are proposing the new investment platform, which we hope that we can launch early next year for the later stage venture capital investment technology. We have identified a few potential in the pipeline in various sectors, but our investment thesis is very much backed up by the Vietnam economy in the current status of the technology. Technology is accessible everywhere. In the next 7 years, Vietnam is expected to generate about 250 billion economic value. And the new digital economy is expected to contribute up to 30% of the total GDP. The Global Innovation Index is being improved. Also, the Global Startup Ecosystem Index is improved. All in all, give us a very strong confidence that the third vintage will be more on the later stage, which will help to bring Vietnam into the next stage. Here we identify a few traditional sectors. It's very inefficient, come from the outside. But from the inside, we do see a lot of opportunity. Look at the banking system, for example. Only 6% of the total bank branches are in the urban area. living about 60% of the people in the rural area are unbanked. So the cash economy is still there. There are lots of room we can improve, even though now you heard about VNPay, Momo, Zalo Pay. But there's still lots of things we can do in order to leverage on this. Fast forward to hospital or the digital, retail, logistics, everywhere you see the inefficiencies. Not only that, we also identify the new area which we think that will help Vietnam in cybersecurity, in blockchain, in agriculture, food technology, and renewable energy. Take another example of the blockchain. Vietnam has a very talented pool of IT engineers, and it took Vietnam 12 years to have the very first unicorn, which is VinaGame. And at 10 years for the second one, there's VNPay. And then about 8 years for the other one, to talk about the Momo and Tiki. But then, only 1.5 years for CryptoCon, with the Axie Infinity. We really create a new phenomenon when Axie Infinity turned into the CryptoCon. It's a unicorn, but in the crypto world, so it's CryptoCon. But we don't invest in crypto. We invest in blockchain, but anything infrastructure, i.e. the Signum, where we invest in the banking, which can be replicated from the Web 2. Where we invest in the crypto exchange. It's similar to the stock exchange. That's Conhaco from Singapore. So anything which we think that we can replicate from Web 2 to Web 3, we invest. Anything like data analytic, company similar to Google search, for example, we will invest. We don't go into NFT and crypto and anything. So with that, I'd like to introduce about the team. I believe that you met so many VC, and I'll be frank with you that not all of the VC have walked the talk. And in Vietnam, I find myself, those VC, it's very difficult to earn respect or sympathy from the startup founders. Because you have to share the useful advice, you have to share the tales in the trench. So many tourist investors come and they think they can make quick money. They think that they know how to do VC. Again, just go back to the ecosystem we've been built. It's more than money. You really need to have connection where many hands work with them hands-on. So Don, Brooke, Andy, they're in the market for a very long time, or have the real experience, and they in the senior management always give us the guidelines. They sit in the IC. But the investment team is here. I myself, with VinaCapital for the past 17 years, run the first fund, DFJ, divest it, move on with the venture, VinaCapital Ventures at the moment, and going to launch another one. With me here today, we have Richard, IB background, come back from New York, have exposure in Vietnam, Thailand, and other countries. We have the diversified team with the combination background and exposure, both in Vietnam and the region, both in operation, investment, and consultancy. Back up with the team of the advisor we've been working with for a very long time. Philip Rossler, he used to be the Deputy Prime Minister from Germany. We have the portfolio company we already divested, like Mr. Gu from Giselan, I mentioned before. Mr. Tong, he used to be the chairman of Year One. The very first entertainment network is similar to YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So all of this, with the network we've been built throughout the year for the tech fairs, all of the incubator, accelerator in Vietnam, gives us a very strong position in order to operate the fund going forward. I have a few case studies here on how we add value into our portfolio company, including the international company like Validus. We invest in Validus from Singapore, and we assist them to launch the operation in Vietnam from Series B, and now they just closed their Series C, preparing for IPO in the next 2 years. Other companies in Vietnam became in very early year but connecting them to the network, help them to expand and scale, and they just closed their first Series A round. We've been able to partially divest from that. Meta is the Web3 platform similar to Google Analytics, get a lot of attention from larger company like Clayton in Kakao Ventures, and they are also closing their Series A. Koina, if you're interested, we can speak to Richard here. He's head of the investment team, helping the company building the platform in agriculture, try to disrupt it from the web market, farmers web market and consumer, also bring it to the next stage where mobilized fund from the investor and building up the whole platform for the agriculture tokenization. Well, I think I'm running out of time, so sorry that I'll fast forward here. Again, just to remind why Vietnam, there's a few points regarding the 100 million population, the influx of FDI, the growth of the production capability, government support, and the growth of domestic consumption. But we are here. We are VinaCapital Ventures. We are here to back the entrepreneur because we believe today entrepreneur will shape the future of Vietnam economy tomorrow. So we will continue to promote the local startup to the world. We will continue to find startup who can address a pain point, either in the local, the regional, or the local, in order to help them to thrive in Vietnam. And we will also to inspire the entrepreneur among the youth or among the middle managers or the business society to come out with a new solution for the contribution to the economy. And we hope that we will have your attention. We look forward to having you to join us in the future. With that, I'd like to conclude my update presentation, and I hope that you have any questions and I can answer right now. Yes?
I'll follow on to the earlier question. So for your V3, for the next fund, it sounds like it's latter stage growth. Will the investment, will the ticket size be the same, or will it be larger, or will you do multiple transactions?
Multiple transactions is always in our DNA because we want to make sure that we can add value at the same time the business will perform and deliver. The check size will be bigger. We will look for any opportunity can absorb the fund from 5 to 10 millions.
So the first two were 500,000 to 3 million. The next fund will be larger.
Yes, exactly. The first two vintage, we look for more early stage, up to 3 millions. The V3 will look for more later stage, starting from 5 millions.